What's up, friends? Welcome into another edition of Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Elijah Schmidt is our technical director, and alongside Dan Courtwright, I am Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us. Another week of Jayhawk coverage, and we just experienced the final Saturday without football for quite some time. The final weekend without football until what, mid-February?
Yeah. Well, there's football this Saturday. We saw Jailen Daniels play against the Kansas City Chiefs this Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I'm not counting.
Okay, fine. But
I guess that is true. Jailen Daniels, shout out, by the way. He played pretty well.
Yeah, it is game week.
It is.
For college football.
Yes.
The first college football game. Is there one on Friday? No, I think the first ones are on Saturday. It's week 0, right?
The first one's on Saturday, but I don't know if you saw earlier today, they announced that the college football season will be starting on a Thursday each of the next 5 years. So we'll have initial kickoff.
So I saw 3 years from now, the first game's August 23rd or something.
Yeah, which is when the Jayhawks played last year. It was August 23rd.
That's right.
For week 0.
Man, I love it. But yeah, North Carolina TCU. That's kicking it off over across the pond in Ireland. It's game week.
We made it.
It
was a lot of a lot of cup checks have gotten us to this point, but we have made it to American football here. Yeah, that's going to be 11 a.m. kickoff at Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Look at that.
We made it. I have confetti.
We made it to the week prior to the week that Kansas plays. Is that what we're celebrating?
No, I'm just celebrating college football being back.
All right,
this
college
week.
football
it's game
week.
Back.
And you're right. I didn't mean to disrespect the NFL preseason, but
one of my confetti poppers didn't work.
Oh, that's a real bummer.
It's unfortunate.
That is a real bummer.
It's here. It's officially here. I can't believe it.
All right, let's get into this here. In the opening segment, we're going to be talking KU Volleyball. They had an exhibition 5-set thrilling win against Creighton in the Katie Dalton revenge game. We say that every time. I mean, every time we say that. She plays for Creighton now. She played here. There's no hard feelings.
Yeah.
She graduated.
It was a grad transfer thing.
She's playing her final year of eligibility in Omaha. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, KU Volleyball has a new team this year, and they provided an awesome atmosphere, as they usually do, over at the Horsch Family Volleyball Arena. We're going to talk about that victory. Of course, there's not quite as much provided from a statistical standpoint, anything like that, for an exhibition, but a nice feel-good win for KU as they head into the season, and they have a really tough opener coming up a little bit later this week. But we're also going to hear from Matt Ulmer and Taylor Stanley post-game reaction to a 5-set win.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Me and Tyler Brewer were out there at Horsch Family Volleyball Arena. The stats aren't public. Creighton didn't want them to be public. It's an exhibition game. I understand that. But I still think it's good for Kansas to play this high level of volleyball before heading into Pitt, because that's going to be a tough matchup. Pitt's number 4 team in the nation right now. So being able to play this high level, because as of right now, or before that game, they'd only played really against each other and then the KU alumni, which obviously there's some good players on the KU alumni team. You had Kelsey Payne and Issei Havili, right? Ryan White was there. I believe Ryan White's actually signed to play pro volleyball in Las Vegas. That sounds right. So they had some good players on the other side, but this is an actual collegiate volleyball team that they've faced off against, who is still a top 15 team in the nation. Creighton was 13. Kansas was 15. Kansas, well, I guess they don't want the stats. Kansas wins 3 of the 5 sets.
Yeah, I mean, I already said that, so yeah.
Okay, sure. KU won. KU won. It was really exciting. KU looked really good. Taylor Stanley looks awesome. Logan Bell, by the way, undersized pin hitter, but she was rock solid down the stretch. My goodness. I mean, she really extended the lead for Kansas in that 5th set. A lot of fun, so we'll break that one down in the opening segment.
Yeah, KU Volleyball, it's always an awesome atmosphere, as I said, over at Horsch. Next segment, going to hear from Andy Kotelnicki, KU's offensive coordinator, always the biggest personality in the room when he walks into Merconic Auditorium, and more Gatorade chatter from Kotelnicki, more quarterback chatter, some quotes that I think resonated well with some people in Jayhawk Nation, so you don't want to miss that. Then after that, Dan, we're going to bring on Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network. He'll give his take on Jailen Daniels against the Chiefs. Of course, he does some stuff with the Chiefs radio network, but also give his thoughts as fall camp winds down here for KU football, and game week is almost upon us. Case the Mondays following that, Dan, what's on tap?
I am on there. High school class of 2022 is on there. There's some interesting stuff going on for the class of 2022, where now the blanket injunction is no longer in place. So now each individual player has to do their own lawsuit. It's going to be an absolute mess.
It is.
I'm
looking forward to you explaining that very, very well and very clearly.
It's going to be great.
So that so everybody is able to, including me, is able to keep track of that. Following Case of the Mondays, we're going to hear from a couple of Jayhawk tight ends, Leyton Cure and Jailen Butler, who we got last week at KU Football Media Day. We have all sorts of content. I don't know if you've seen us on social media, but highly suggest it. We're going to be playing some of the interviews that we got over at the indoor practice facility at KU Football Media Day at the end of last week, throughout this week on Rock Chalk Sports. But again, you can check those out at any time on social media, YouTube. We got Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at the Kansas Nation, Kansas Nation on Facebook as well, kansasnation.com. We'll also hear from KU punter Matt Gill, interesting guy. KU back, how do you say Australia? I mean, that's across a different pond.
I would say it's down under.
Down under, wow. That's a good one. Haven't thought of that.
I just thought of that.
But yeah, Matt Gill, we'll hear from him. And then again, throughout the week, you're going to hear more from Yasin Willis. You're going to hear more from Dylan Edwards, Jabril Alameen, Corey Gordon. You're going to have some returning players as well, Trey Lathan, Taylor Davis, plus a couple coaches, DK McDonald, Matt Lubick, all sorts of stuff for you here on Kansas Nation. Everything we got over at KU Football Media Day. KU Volleyball, like you said, it's not quite out there publicly, but anybody who went to the game saw what happened. Anybody who follows us on social media saw what happened, and KU Volleyball did pick up a nice win. Again, Creighton entered this exhibition match ranked number 13 in the country. KU number 15, of course. Those are preseason rankings in the AVCA poll, but still, it was a lot of fun. And again, it's a situation where Kansas is going to have a lot of talent, going to be able to play a little bit faster. It was Reese Patak who had the game-clinching kill for KU in the fifth set. And Taylor Stanley, you and I were talking a little bit off air. Dan, she's going to be all that she's cracked up to be here in the preseason.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from this was the fact that it did look like they were playing at a fast pace, which is great to see. But Kansas was the better volleyball team by far and away. I think the fact that it went to 5 sets is a little misleading because of the fact that Kansas won the first set, Creighton won the next 2, Kansas won the last 2. In the second and third set, the reason that Creighton wound up winning those, it felt like kind of Kansas was shooting themselves in the foot quite a bit, right? There was a lot of missed serves. There was some miscommunication on their front, right? Creighton wasn't getting kills the way that Kansas was getting kills. Kansas was, hitting the ball incredibly hard, striking it fast, playing at a very fast pace, but there were just some moments where you saw it just, kind of hitting to the net or maybe there was a little bit of miscommunication on one end or another. And you're going to get that when you have a brand new setter. Obviously, Reese Messer was one of the best setters in the nation last year for USC, but still, you're still working on the chemistry of finding those outside hitters when the setter's there and the back line making sure to get the ball to the setter or so on and so forth, right? It felt like Kansas wasn't setting themselves up for success. It kind of self-inflicted mistakes leading to that second and third set. Kansas really found their footing in that fourth and fifth set. And in the fourth set, really impressive. I want to say the stats aren't available because they weren't public, but I know it was really close in the fourth set. It was like 24-23. Maybe it was 24-22. It was really close. Kansas was up. Kansas hammers the ball skies, and Katie Dalton falls trying to get it and winds up taking it to the fifth, and Kansas just ran away with it in the fifth set. I mean, I understand Creighton is a good team, and I understand it's an exhibition, and Creighton is still continuing to figure themselves out as well, right? That's no question to anybody because it's this early in the season. It's an exhibition game. Creighton has a lot of new people on their squad as well. Second-year head coach, I believe, their new head coach, because they had that legendary head coach for a long time.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth was the coach at Creighton for 15 or so years.
Yeah. I believe she retired.
24, so this would be second year, so just like Matt Ulmer.
Second year, which, that is certainly fair. But, Matt Ulmer is continuing to work out those kinks and try to build the chemistry. And again, this is only going to be a good thing. It didn't even matter if Kansas won or lost its exhibition game. It's just good for Kansas to get out there and play somebody else, somebody who didn't wear Kansas across their chest, right? They've only played against themselves, and they've only played against the KU alumni. Now you have the opportunity to have a top 15 team come into your house and get you ready essentially for what could potentially be the biggest matchup of the year before the postseason, which is Pitt, who's the number 4 team in the nation. You're going into their house this coming week. You got to be ready for it.
Yeah, and you got to see a little bit of Kristen Klein setting as well. So we're really excited. We don't know how often we'll see the two-setter look, I guess, for Matt Ulmer in this offense, but a lot of athletic, quick-twitch girls. And, again, Stanley, the outside hitter, pin hitter, whatever you want to call her, she's probably
my goodness
as quick twitch as it comes. And like you said, Logan Bell, somebody who can do a little bit of everything. KU also has a new libero. You mentioned Ryan White no longer there, so Olivia Hasbrook will be wearing the different colored jersey, if you will. But yeah, so much fun. And again, KU Volleyball, as we look ahead to what they've got before we hear from Matt Ulmer here in this opening segment, KU Volleyball has road game after road game, including a game against Pitt, who, like we've talked about, is preseason number 4 in the country. Henry Greenstein was speaking last week about how loaded of the Pitt roster there is, and that's the next game. It's Friday at 5:30 in Pittsburgh at the Opening Spike Classic, and then after that, it's Stanford on Sunday at 1:30, second game of that Opening Spike Classic. And then Kansas will go to Nashville, Music City, to take on Lipscomb and Florida State in the Lipscomb tournament. Then KU will be back at home for the first official game here at Horsch on Tuesday, September 8th against Wichita State. Then you've got the Kansas Invitational, where KU will take on South Dakota State and Tulsa. You go to Wichita State, come back home for the Jayhawk Classic, Ole Miss, and Grand Canyon. So it's nice getting some games. And, the schedules are different pretty much across college athletics. You schedule these things in advance. You have coaching changes. You don't really know. And it weirdly worked out last year to where Kansas didn't have a non-conference game at Horsch before conference season started.
Right.
That's not the case this year. Again, you got a couple 2-game tournaments, or MTEs, if you will, for KU.
The Jayhawk Classic and the Kansas Invitational.
Jayhawk Classic, the Kansas Invitational, and yeah, you've got.
Is
the
it technically a
Opening
classic if
Spike
it's never
Classic
happened before?
coming up on the road? It's happened before.
Oh, it has?
It has,
Okay.
yeah.
All
They've
right,
done that
fine.
before a lot in the Bouchard era, where they had MTEs. Sometimes they'd even play 4 or 5 games in those MTEs, but just a couple games, at least that's the schedule that we've got for KU Volleyball. So yeah, 0-0 is the record, but that's a feel-good win. Even if it is an exhibition, doesn't count against the top 15 team in Creighton. All right, let's go back to Horsch Family Volleyball Arena and hear from KU head coach Matt Ulmer after the win.
What do you got?
I mean, back and forth game today. How do you feel about the team's performance?
I'm really thankful to Creighton for wanting to come here and play an exhibition here. I mean, what a great crowd. What a cool way to start it off. Sell out. Band was rocking. Great to have students back. It's what we live for, is to get in this atmosphere, and to play a really good team like Creighton was excellent for us, and especially in the exhibition. I thought there's things we learned a lot that we did well, and things that we need to continue to improve upon. But again, I liked our fight. I liked our composure at the end of set 1, 4, and 5, and didn't really like it at the end of set 2 and 3. But overall, pretty steady and a lot of good things to keep working on.
Coach, I'd love to know what you're thinking about some of your new players and how they're performing and what you're excited about for the season with them now on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I know this one didn't count, but everybody can see Taylor Stanley. She's pretty good. So I'm really proud of her. Just a lot of film, a lot of working on decision making. I thought she made so many good choices tonight. Her connection with Reese was great. I thought our outside connection overall wasn't as good as it normally is. So I thought we just never found a rhythm there. So I thought it didn't really show how good Avery's been. But I thought we set it out a little bit, and maybe in the fifth, at the end of the 4th and 5th, Reese kind of got that going with Grace and Logan. And again, we need our lefts to be able to score more efficiently than what they did. So, and then everybody else that didn't play, you saw Tessa come in the double sub situation, and I thought she made some nice plays there. And Jailen, Sydney, Ryan, who aren't in, are great, really good, and we're going to need them. Olivia, I thought, did a really nice job at libero. So 8 newbies, right? A lot of new people, a lot of new faces, but they got a good taste of what it is to play at KU and to be a Jayhawk here, so that was pretty neat.
You saw a lot of rotation in this game. I mean, are you still kind of using this as an evaluation period to kind of figure out that steady rotation for the season?
Yeah, I mean, so I appreciate, again, Creighton, we both have really tough weekends coming up, first weekend. So we both are trying to hope to play a really competitive match, and kind of what we thought maybe starters would look like and get out there after each other. And I thought, they double subbed in the fourth, but for the most part, I think they had kind of their best stuff, and we did too. And it was really helpful because you really get real evaluation, and I think we both really, appreciated that. So, we're still playing around. It's more for us about what are our other options, if based upon a matchup. If they're scoring a little bit more on the right, do we want to get bigger block over there? Do we want to score more on the left? Do we want to double sub, go bigger block, get Reese's block? Things like that. So I think for us, we're playing around and just seeing what else we have.
On Logan today, a little bit undersized for an outside hitter, but she was awesome down the stretch. What do you see out of her?
Logan's a player. She's fearless, which you have to be. She's better the more she plays. She gets in a better rhythm. So for her, playing as a 3-rotation DS isn't what she'd prefer to do. But again, if we want a bigger block, we have Avery over there. But Logan gives us more ball control. She has really nice shot ideas. She's pretty dynamic, as you saw in a couple of those swings. But again, I just really like her toughness and fearlessness. And again, we expect to see her a lot more in the front row.
During your last press conference, you talked about how you want the team to play faster this season. How do you think they've done with doing that in these two scrimmages?
Did it look faster? Oh, did you? From your view, it did. Good. If not, then that'd be a bummer. Again, within that, you want to play fast, but you don't want to play too fast where you don't have choices. And again, I thought, especially with our outsides, we were playing too fast and low, and they just didn't have many options. But I thought, to Reese's credit, Messer, I thought she, adjusted as we went on. And then all of a sudden, you could see us kind of playing on the left too. But yeah, again, like our middles and our right side attack with Taylor, I thought it's good tempo, but high. And that's what we want to be because we have athleticism to play up there. So again, it's early. You can see there's obviously kinks to work out. We're definitely not in playoff form, but you can see the potential. You can see where it could go, and we just want to commit to it.
You might not be in playoff form, but you have a big matchup coming up against Pitt. You want to talk about what the message is to the team going into that matchup?
Yeah, Pitt gets a chance to play 2 matches here this weekend, and that's why I was really hoping, same with Creighton, like that we would be able to play more of a competitive match so it doesn't feel like we're 2 matches behind. And so I think that's what we provided today, best that we could. So I thought that was great. Pitt returns a lot, so we don't. It's going to take us a little bit longer to get fluid. But what a great test it's going to be, especially at their place. It's going to feel very different than in here at our home court. So we'll see how we respond emotionally to that. I hope we can engage our brains more than our hearts. And, I think it'll be a great challenge for us to play them in Stanford next weekend. Thank you.
That's KU Volleyball second-year head coach Matt Ulmer. We're going to go back to Horace right now and hear from the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, Taylor Stanley, who I would imagine is feeling pretty good after that top 15 win, albeit exhibition. Still was a lot of fun on Saturday. Here's Taylor Stanley postgame.
Taylor, just obviously first action against another college that's not Kansas and not the alumni. Just how are you feeling out there?
Honestly, it felt great. I think it was awesome to play in Horace. We have such an amazing home court advantage. Our band is amazing. Our fan base is so fun to play for. So I think the second this band started playing today, I was like, ooh, this is going to be fun. And it was. The vibes were really great on the court. Everybody was hyped up, so it felt good.
How did you find yourself preparing for this matchup? I know you guys had the alumni scrimmage. This is a little bit different feel. What were you kind of doing pregame to get yourself ready?
Right. I think a big thing, obviously, being here in the spring was amazing. I had a lot of time to prepare, so I think mentally coming in, I felt really confident, really sound-minded, honestly. I think my teammates do a really great job of allowing me to be myself and just feel my best all the time. So I felt great coming in, calm, honestly. There's going to be nerves that come with it. Like I said, our band and fans are loud, so I knew that would be a challenge, but I think that it was great. My team does a really great job of just honestly just allowing everybody to play their best, feel calm on the court, so it wasn't hard.
How do you think this group is coming together and starting to mesh so far this season? Obviously, it's still very early.
Yeah, things are definitely clicking for us. It isn't hard for us all to just mesh together on the court. I think our setters do a great job running our offense. Everybody just is doing their job. We're really figuring out how to play with each other, and so block's doing great things, and then defense is able to play behind it. Offense is able to run so many different things just because of our connections that we have, and I think it goes to off the court a lot. So off the court, we're always hanging around each other. We're literally our whole entire team's hanging out with each other all the time. So I think that's great. We just have great chemistry, and it makes it easy when we come to practice and come on the court.
Taylor, I'd love to know what you're thinking personally, what you're going to do specifically to kind of add to the team energy energy. Obviously, it was a good Sweet 16 run last season. What are you going to focus on this season to help kind of maybe get back in that spot?
Right, yeah. I think personally I'm working to just always be like kind of that sound teammate that people can come to, and I can just have the calm presence on the court. I try not to get too high and too low, but I also really work on just celebrating my team in big moments and just being that one that they can come to for anything. But I really try to be big offensively on my attack and my block. I think that I can really bring that to our team. Same with my serve, and just working on being a great all-around opposite. Like, I want to be there so I can play great defense and help run my offense. So yeah, I'm just trying to be a great all-around player for my teammates, but also just I think my energy helps on the court, and I hope that I can be that for my teammates.
Coach Ulmer talked about playing fast, talked about it all off season, and you're starting to see it come to fruition. And with Reese Messer obviously being the setter, it makes it probably a little easier for you. Just talk about that, kind of expand on that a little bit more in terms of playing faster with alongside this girl.
Yeah, I think she's done a great job. Both of our setters in practice, honestly, like, we're doing a great job speeding things up, and we're always trying to work around, like, how can we speed this up? How can we change things up? And I think we're really trying to play with the blockers and the other team's eyes. I think we're really trying to play like mind games with them. So if we're like overloading on something else, it's opening other things up on the other side of the court. So like, speed is one thing, but I think just also being able to have so many great hitter options and everybody's up at all times, I think that we can really do a lot of great things from there with our offense.
Being a local kid, I mean, just talk about wearing a Kansas across your chest and being just a stone's throw away from where you grew up.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's honestly such an honor to wear it across my chest. I think that it's been a dream of mine since I was so little. I've always been a Jayhawk, and so it just feels great to finally be able to represent. I've loved watching these girls play on this court, so it's just really fun to be out here.
That's KU hitter Taylor Stanley, and now it begins to matter for KU Volleyball. Nice getting their feet wet, like you said, going up against somebody else. That's always a breath of fresh air after constantly practicing in the offseason for pretty much any team. But, yeah, it's going to be KU and number 4 Pitt. That's Friday at Pittsburgh. What a tough way to start the season. But Kansas, they're worthy of a top 15 record as well, or top 15 ranking, rather, as well. Looking forward to seeing how they do in Pittsburgh against Pitt and Stanford. All right, after this, we're going to go back to the KU football building. We're going to hear from Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator who returns to KU after a couple years away at Penn State. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and kansasnation.com. Next segment, we're going to bring on Nick Springer to talk KU football and Chiefs football. I want to tell you about our friends over at Central Bank. They've got Jayhawk checking and the exclusive Jayhawk debit card. You can use this to show your school spirit every day. The students are officially back on campus. How awesome is that? Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. That's jayhawkchecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. We're going to hear from Andy Kotelnicki. That was something that I know you and I both talked to a lot of the offensive players about at KU Football Media Day on Thursday, Dan, because it's really exciting as fans, but I have to imagine it's kind of difficult. I mean, you played offense, and there's a lot of words, there's a lot of schemes, and it can be confusing at times. And with so many newcomers, you got to kind of get on it pretty quick.
That's the thing. It's like whenever even a lot of the guys, like you think about this, Cole Ballard and Keaton Quebeca. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the only two. Calvin Clements, too, are the only guys who really remember what it's like to play with Andy Kotelnicki. And it is always difficult. And I never had to deal with this, but having a different offensive coordinator each year, right? It went Kotelnicki, then Grimes, then Zabrowski, and then back to Kotelnicki. A lot of these guys have had a number of different offensive coordinators. So, yeah, you are learning a lot, but here's the thing. I have confidence in these guys, the fact that they're able to, absorb all this stuff. We're seeing this, and that's kind of something that we've continued to hear throughout this fall camp is that Andy Kotelnicki, yeah, he likes to do creative stuff. Yeah, his offense is really challenging, but he's a good teacher, right? He's able to teach these guys in a way where it's easy to absorb so that all of them understand. And you're not going to have the entire playbook right away, right? You're probably still maybe 50% through, 60% through heading into this Long Island game. Then between Long Island and Mizzou, you're probably going to have 65 to 75% of it done with some specific things through Mizzou, you're going to continue to add to this playbook as the year continues to go on. But again, I think that Andy Kotelnicki is such a good teacher in terms of making sure the guys are aligned right. Their alignments are set. That's really the biggest point, is make sure that your alignments are set, and then you can always kind of figure it out as you go.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun to watch because it's one thing to have a fun scheme, but KU has a lot of fun skill position players that we really want to see their talents unleashed, and Coach K is the right guy to do that. Let's hear everything Andy Kotelnicki said on Thursday at KU Football Media Day.
We had hydrated earlier. I have not heard anything from the Gatorade people. Is anyone in this room?
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing, but like I just want to make sure, like we have to be together in this, right? Like this isn't. We all benefit when Gatorade decides to put more flavors in an aluminum can, right? Not just me. So as a society, if we can get a movement, hashtag at Gatorade or whatever you have to do nowadays, let's get that going. If we get that trending, that'd be great. Okay, fire away. Good to see you guys.
I guess let's just start on a somewhat specific thing. You guys had Amir doing some center stuff for a while. Now it sounds like it's kind of back to Case in there. What do you like about the vision of the offensive line with him at center and Amir at guard and those other guys competing for the other guard spot?
Well, you always want to have your best 5 guys in the field, and so I think what you do is you have to cross-train certain guys, and maybe what you don't want to do is if any individual or any position becomes unavailable, that the next guy that goes in the field will be your 6th best lineman. And so to cross-train players is important for us to do that throughout fall camp. So I like that group is really gelling together well. I like that group is being cross-trained. You got Harper has been playing guard and tackle. You had talked about already about Amir going in and out. You have those kind of things occurring, which you're doing that so those guys can continue to develop and get in the field at any position when the time comes.
And then what's your view been on the quarterback competition these last few weeks?
Well, I'm glad that you said that. I do have, we have had some really important thoughts about this. There's a lot of stuff going on with the NCAA. I actually have 1 year remaining of eligibility that we have an appeal in the NCAA to give me back my year, and I will be going out there in the first game, taking the first snap. Much like the movie Slapshot, Reggie Dunlap, player/coach. That's what will be happening the first game. It's going really good. I'm really proud of both of those guys. They're awesome. They're competing really, really well. And they're continue to get better. It's a credit to Coach Z, Coach Flip. Those guys, I'm proud of them because competition, a lot of times people will, they'll have adverse reactions to it, and they'll allow animosity to grow between individuals and kind of root for the other guy to fail, and that's not happening at all with them. And I've said before in that room, when you have competition in that room, which is really, really important room, of course, and our football team can see those 2 individuals handling it really, really well, and it's making both of them better, and no one can debate that. That's really healthy for our football team. But, again, none of that matters anyway because I will be the one taking the first name.
Coach, for an offense...
Just for the record, I want to make sure you guys all know that I'm just messing around, right, okay? Right? And we have some crazy stuff out there, right, okay? I probably could get an eligibility year back, but I'm not, okay? Sorry to interrupt your question.
Coach, for an offense that's going to be led by whatever quarterback is, one with not a lot of game experience, what do you think this offense will hang its hat on? What this identity based on what you evaluated from camp so far?
Well, I can tell you that we want our football team to be physical. That's not just in our side of the ball; it's in all phases. Effort-based program, but we want to do a great job of showcasing our best players and giving them, ample opportunities to touch the football and do things. And what I'm excited about is I think the way that we have developed is we have a lot of guys that are. We have some puzzle pieces, right, that we could use. We have fun little weapons that we can move around and utilize in a lot of different ways. And so, there should be some diversity with what we're doing, but still, rooted in toughness and physicality and being explosive.
One of those weapons that you brought in from the transfer portal, Nick McMillan, was one of the biggest additions. And I think a lot of people think that he's going to be like the wide receiver 1 for you guys. I wanted to know what was your impression of him so far in camp, if you were to, get 1 more year eligibility and you have to throw him the ball. Well,
thank you for bringing that up. I've been really pleased with him and how he's done. I think there is a room there in the receiver room that throughout fall camp we've kind of dialed things up for every one of those guys individually, and they've all been able to show up and make plays. I think Coach Pickett has missed a few practices because he's a little banged up. He's missed the last 3 practices, but he'll be back and fine for the first. And he's had a great fall camp. And Nick's had a great fall camp. Nas and Keaton has had a really, really good fall camp right now, making a lot of plays out there for us. And I see a ton of growth in that room. You know what I mean? And then Tate Nagy has also, since I've gotten here, I've just really seen him grow in his role, what they're doing. And we ask those guys to do a lot. We're not the kind of offense that's just asked our guys to go stand outside the numbers and only run routes, and when we're handing the ball off, they can kind of take a break. I know some teams do that. We don't. We want our guys involved in everything that we're doing. So we're playing truly 11-on-11 football, and those guys have done a great job of going in there and being physical and playing without the ball. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot in our program is what do you do when you don't have the ball, right? Even the best players at the highest level of football, the marquee receivers, marquee tight ends, those guys are touching the ball somewhere between 10 and 20% of the time. That means 80% of the time they're doing something else that's either going to open up another teammate or they're blocking for a teammate. And so our football team has to embody that.
Andy, are you open to using the season opener as a way to further evaluate the quarterback battle, or do you want to decide it before?
Yeah, we're open to anything, you know what I mean, in terms of what we think is going to be best for our team, right, that way. So all options are there. Again, I'm super pleased with how they're both progressing. Any scenario, right, to help make the decision. If we feel like that going into as we keep going, then we would decide to do that.
You mentioned Tate. I wonder, how do you see him as someone you can utilize? A lot of people look at Luke, and he's different than Luke, obviously.
So Grimm?
Yeah. Sorry, but are there endless ways you could use him? Do you want to use him more? What's that look like in your head?
Well, I don't know if it's clearly defined yet in my head, but I can tell you that he's a competitor and he wants to do better every day. One of my favorite things about our team is, gosh, we got a lot of guys who are incredibly coachable. And I can be notorious for coaching really hard and being very demanding on some of those guys, and they have done nothing but accept the coaching and provided their own feedback about how to improve and ways to do things, and they're very inquisitive, and he embodies that as well. He's super competitive that way. So a player like him, he just said that this athlete is kind of the shifty football player that has a level of savvy as he's running routes, and you can recognize it. So, how do you envision using him? What's the ceiling? I don't know. Right? Like for anyone at this age or this point in their life, he's still going to get better, right? And he's doing a really good job right now, and he's still going to improve. So, I don't know what the ceiling is for him, right? But I've been pleased that he's getting better.
And Lance was in here. You both talked about Keaton and his camp.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you guys high on what you've seen from him this camp?
Well, when you look at practice, and we try to evaluate practices all the time, right? And you try to look at things objectively and who should be on the field and doing what. What needs to happen when people are out practicing those, every player will show a flash. Every player will go, ooh, that was a great catch. Ooh, that was a great, block or a run or a tackle or whatever it is. Like every player in a program has had a flash. But what you look for is the one that shows up consistently. And that's what he's been doing. And so he's playing with a level of consistency right now through how many other practices we've had that has caught our eye, right? And then I think you've all heard Coach speak before, is be so good we can't play you, right? Or can't not play you, right? And that's he's getting into that situation where he is continually showing that he can be consistently dependent on, asked to do a variety of things, and go out there and get it done. And he's been making some really great catches.
Jailen Dupree didn't go through this spring, but in camp, what have you seen from him as he kind of gets used to the offense?
Well, I tell you, he has had probably his last 2 practices have been his best ones. He's back. He's getting more reps now. His understanding of what's going on. He had to knock the rust off a little bit in this camp because he missed a lot of spring, as you pointed out. But I see somebody who's got good vision. I see somebody who wants to run really tough and physical, which those are 2 really usually pretty good, characteristics for running backs. And so he's been doing a really impressive job with that.
Yasin has gotten plenty of praise over the course of spring. What's impressed you most about working with him?
He's a big back. He runs really physical, so he's going to break a ton of arm tackles. But his vision between the tackles and his suddenness at the second and third level has really been impressive and fun to watch. So I'm excited to see how what it's like when we play games.
And then Calvin going into his second year as a starter. What sort of growth have you seen from him, even if you go back to January when you got back?
Well, when I showed up, and I would have expected this because I remember recruiting him out of high school, but just, his leadership right away is so evident. And I have mentioned before about the O-line play and them gelling together. He's a big part of that, I would say. Tackles typically get noticed for the wrong reasons, right? Okay, so because they're giving up pressures, because they get put on an island out there a lot of times. And that has not been an issue in fall camp. I mean, everyone's going to lose their reps, and so that happens. But his pass protection, I think, has gotten a lot better in that way. And he's certainly embraced the physical piece, the physicality, the nastiness that we really want with our offensive line play. And he's embodied that. And when you talk to Calvin, you know that's not his personality at all. You know what I mean? He doesn't, doesn't only chews or, you know what I mean? Probably doesn't swear, right? Not that those are indicators of being tough, but whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? Like. But he'll turn on the nasty when we need him to, for sure.
Is there anything from this offense you haven't seen yet that you want to see before the opening?
That's a good question. I would answer it. It's a little bit like my first thing, is that there's been a ton of flashes. For me, it's consistently showing it over and over and over again. I've said before in this room, I think one of the biggest things that coaches have to do is identify what are the limitations of players and what are the capabilities of players. And as long as you have a really clear picture of that, you can always put the puzzle pieces together to get guys in the right spots. And so you just need a few more practice of that evidence as you get into the fall, and then we think that we'll move the puzzle pieces around really, really well.
With Carson Brewing, it's pretty clear he has the frame and the skills to be a good blocker. Where's he at as a receiver? Right?
I'd say that has been by far one of his biggest improvements this season, in the year 2026. I think Coach Lubick, Coach Parker had challenged him, Coach Lou specifically, about, hey, we need to improve in this area. And he has a bunch of film from this fall of him making some really good catches, some back shoulder catches, some big body catches, which is going to be incredible for us to use as a weapon in the tight end room.
Things changed quite a bit in a year, 2 years, the 2 years you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
How familiar, comfortable, prepared do you feel you are personally for what you'll see in the Big 12 defensively?
I mean, I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Was
it a huge undertaking to
come in and prepare myself mentally
and see it again and see what's where, as opposed to what you knew when you left?
It's different, right? There's different staffs, right. Like all over the place, and so there's difference. But that's kind of college football, right? I have still always just concerned myself first and foremost with our personnel, our people, our team. Now, you're simultaneously evaluating what it is, because you got to say to yourself, what are we doing well? What kind of team do we have? What is our recipe going to win these consistently? And then you start looking at opponents. You say, okay, here's how many odd structures. Here's how many man coverage teams you play. Here's how many even front teams you play. And then making sure throughout the year, including fall camp, that you're repping those things enough that you might not be seeing from our defense and vice versa. So I feel mentally, that we have a good grasp of what we're going to see, but you still never know. Sure. Things really don't unfold until you get to almost halfway through the season, to be honest. You get to the halfway point of the regular season and you're like, okay, that's what they have to be.
Sure. Anything else for Coach K?
Cool. Bert, got questions?
Oh, are you done?
That's KU offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki last week at the football building. The ever so patient Nick Springer will join us after this on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtright back with you here. Rock Chalk Sports rolls on your Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend out there. I want to tell you about our friends over at Jailen's Jewelry, 95th and Antioch. They can help you out right in front of the big grocery store. Gary Jailen and his family have been in the business for over 40 years, and they can give you a great service and a great deal. If you have rings, necklaces, chains, anything that you've got, they can help you out over at Jailen's if they need fixed. Again, they can do it at a fair price. Jailen's is all about being fair, they're being honest, and again, you're going to recommend them to your friends and family. Jailen's Jewelry, 95th and Antioch. Can't miss them as they're in front of the big grocery store. Nick Springer joins us here in studio. Nick, appreciate your patience as you know, we were playing Andy Kotelnicki and certainly did not.
Wait, Andy Kotelnicki's back?
Andy Kotelnicki.
Wait, what?
Andy Kotelnicki is back. Can you believe that? Let's start there, actually. We were
I had no idea.
We were over at KU Football Media Day with you. Got a chance to chat with all the guys on a warm day. It was almost as warm inside as it was outside.
It was brutally hot in that indoor.
But yeah, Cole Ballard, Isaiah Marshall, we had a smattering of media talking to both of them. Of course, that's a big story. But Dylan Edwards, Yasin Willis as well. Let's kind of use the Kotelnicki angle. He has a lot of talented guys on the offensive side. We're excited to see, be it the running backs, the wide receivers, tight ends, whoever it is. They should provide a lot for this KU offense.
Absolutely. Well, I've been saying this for a while now, and I don't know. We'll see how the season plays out, obviously, what the results of the season are. But, I mean, you look at this team, guys. I feel pretty confident in saying that virtually across the board, even including the defense, I know you guys for the offense, but just in general, this KU team has more talent and or more depth of legitimate college experience at virtually every position than what they had last year, with the exception of quarterback, obviously.
Yeah.
Quarterback and probably offensive line, I think you would say maybe, but you've still got some Power 4 experience there. You just maybe don't have the same level of talent when you think about losing a guy like Bryce Foster. Kobe Baines is obviously a long-term starter for you, and then Enrique Cruz is in the NFL draft. So quarterback and offensive line might be the two positions where you don't have the same level of either talent or experience that you had last year. But, I mean, running back, you feel like you're just as talented probably as last year, certainly deeper, certainly have more depth of talent. Wide receiver, you probably feel like you're a little bit more talented there this year with more experience. Tight end, you're certainly deeper, maybe not as experienced, but certainly have more depth. You look at the defense. On the D-line, without Trayvon McAlpine, maybe, okay, the defensive tackle room is not as talented or experienced this year. You look at the D-end position, you're more talented and probably deeper at that position as well. Linebacker, you have more depth of legitimate Power 4 experience.
For sure.
And in the secondary, you're returning, two starters on the outside with Austin Alexander and Jailen Todd. You've brought in a litany of guys that started, legitimate Power 4 games across the secondary. When you think about Jaden Harris, Corey Gordon, obviously, Keyshawn Cummings-Coleman as well from Iowa State. You brought in Roman Pearson, who's a fifth-year experienced guy. So, I mean, across the board, this team on paper to me is either more talented or deeper at every position than they were last year, except the most important position, which is kind of where the negative part comes in, is at the quarterback spot. But to circle back to your question about Kotelnicki, is that I think you just kind of have faith that Andy K is just going to cook up some BS and it's going to work regardless of who your quarterback is, right? And actually, I've kind of come around on this theory a little bit too of I don't really know if it matters who the starting quarterback for KU is, actually. I don't think it matters. I don't, it doesn't, to me, it's irrelevant whether or not it's Cole Ballard or Isaiah Marshall at this point. For two reasons. Number one, I think regardless of who it is, Andy K is going to do his thing and it's, whatever. And two, based off of everything that everyone has said around the program, they're both going to play anyways.
That's
so
right.
What the hell does it matter? So I am beginning to, because I know for a lot of people over the course of the summer it was, and depending on your viewpoint of it, it was, oh my God, if Isaiah Marshall's not the starter, like burn it all down. This is awful. Like the world is ending, or what, or with Cole Ballard, it was, whatever. So I just don't think it matters anymore, honestly. I've kind of come around. I'm like, you know what? Just put whoever out there is going to best execute the offense or do whatever Andy Kotelnicki wants to do. Put full faith in Andy Kotelnicki that he's just going to do his thing, call some BS, make it work, scheme up whatever, and go from there.
Yeah.
So, again, you've got more skill position talent or deeper skill position talent this year than you did last year. So, and everybody, it seems like all things considered, KU got through fall camp relatively healthy-ish, certainly in terms of not losing anybody long-term because you lost McAlpine in the spring. So he doesn't even really count. But, yeah, I have faith that Andy Kotelnicki will just do his thing. And the other thing, before I let you speak again, I don't even think the offense is going to be what determines KU's ultimate ceiling this season. It's going to be the defense.
Sure.
It's going to be the defense.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened last year, right? Obviously, there was a number of different one-possession games where we talked about this.
You know what's crazy, actually? KU only played in 3 one-possession games last year.
Arizona.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that too.
Well, so the Mizzou.
But yes,
I
there
always
were
thinking about the
several
Mizzou game
games-
because the Mizzou
Yes.
game, Kansas was up.
There were
big.
several games
Yeah.
where it was like one possession in like third
Utah
quarter.
too, the last game of the year.
Yeah,
they ended up winning
Utah.
by 10.
That's right.
Right. So there were several games where like it was a one-score game in the second half.
Yeah.
There were several games like
virtually one possession games, and then
But yes.
Kansas allowed it to get
there
to
were,
2 possessions.
but yeah, only 3 actual games that were decided by 1 score or less
Right.
last season, compared to 2024 where they had I think 6 and they went
Yeah.
1-5.
Right, and that's obviously, I mean, just incredibly unlucky in those games. And I want to go back to the quarterback thing because this is something that Sean had brought up last week. What's the point in naming a starter right now? I understand it's frustrating for the fan base, right? Not knowing who they can rally behind and buy their jerseys or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, why don't you put an and or an or next to their name in the Long Island game? Make Mizzou, I guess, make Mizzou think that they're gonna they don't know what they're gonna throw out there, right? It's a strategy thing, and I totally understand that aspect of it. Is like you need to make Mizzou prepare for 2 different quarterbacks, and if you play both of them in the Mizzou game, great, that's fine, and I think you can do it a little bit easier in the college game. But
so
it's just a strategy thing, just to not let them know, like it's playing your cards close to the chest, at least leading up to the Mizzou game.
So the thing about it is, the whole gamesmanship element that you're kind of getting at there of like, oh, what are we going to do? You know,
right.
In 1983, that worked great.
Yeah.
When nobody had any game film or nobody knew what,
Yeah,
it's 2026.
That's
Everybody knows everything about everyone.
Yeah,
okay?
that's
You're not
fair.
hiding anything. You're not fooling anybody. Nobody, it's not like anybody's
Sure.
like, oh my God, who's this Isaiah Marshall guy? We didn't see him. Who is he? We don't know.
Right.
Like, everybody knows who everybody is. Okay? So the gamesmanship thing, in fact,
But you're going to scheme up defenses differently if you don't know at least the number of snaps you're going to have
whatever
between those
competitive
guys.
advantage you're gaining is so minimal. I promise.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough.
Great example. Did you see what Florida State is doing before their game again? They're playing New Mexico, week 0.
No.
They're not releasing a depth chart at all.
Oh, at
Florida
all?
State. No depth
Okay,
chart.
that's
You
crazy.
think that's gonna give them a competitive advantage against New Mexico?
Sure.
No, it's stupid. Okay, it's dumb. All right. Now, in the case of Kansas, I mean, presumably, like Lance Leipold said at Media Day, it's still a battle, I guess. So
Sure.
they can just kind of go under the guise of like, well, they're still actually competing for the job.
Right.
But again, everybody knows they're both going to play, certainly against LIU.
Right.
And then they're probably both going to play against Missouri, and they're probably both going to play, for a while, I would think, especially if it ends up being Cole Ballard because you figure they're going to have packages for Isaiah Marshall. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole gamesmanship thing, that's just old school coaches being dumb. Okay, this is not 1991. Okay, you're not hiding it. You're not hiding anything from anybody. There's film, there's game tape.
Sure.
Everybody knows who everybody is.
Well, you put in Isaiah Marshall, and you go, "Oh, I wonder what they're going to do." Probably, probably run a little option or something.
You're not gaining any competitive advantage off that.
Okay.
It's dumb from that perspective. For Kansas, however, if it is a true battle, I guess, or whatever, however they think it is leading into week 1, then sure, put the and there. I don't know, but I guess I'm to the point now.
I think it would help if Mizzou was week 1. I think if you're going up against Long Island, then like Mizzou's still going to get the film against Long Island. They're going to know who's going to get the majority of the snaps, even though you're probably still going to have a lot of rotation.
I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Okay.
I would be interested to see like how much we're overthinking it because that's what we do. How much thought goes into it from Leipold and Kotelnicki of like, do you think they have a conversation of, okay, let's get both of these guys 16 snaps, or is that just overthinking? I mean, who knows?
Well, I mean, we were in the room, I think it was Jordan Gusky from Topeka Capital Journal, friend of the show, asked both, I think, Lance and Andy, and was like, hey, like, do you view Long Island as an extension of the battle, like as a tryout? And they both were like, no, not really. I mean, Andy Kotelnicki
kind of an evaluation.
Whatever. So, I mean, yes, I think probably both are going to play. And this kind of circles back to a point that I actually made on my show as well, which is, okay, you don't want a 2-quarterback system. Great, fine, whatever. But at what point does that just become a 2-quarterback system if you're just playing both guys?
Right.
Like, maybe it's not a 2-quarterback system in traditional sense, like of what you call it, but like, they're not rotating. But if you play 70 offensive snaps a game, and it's 55 snaps for Cole Ballard and 25 for Isaiah Marshall, and then the next game it's 45 and 30, like, that's a 2-quarterback system.
still
It don't
too
matter
early.
how the hell you do it. Like, that's what it, like, you're playing 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
Like, it's, now, if it ends up being a situation where the split is like, you play 70 snaps and it's 60 for Cole Ballard or Isaiah Marshall and 10 for the other one, okay, fine, sure, whatever. I understand that. You've got certain packages, whatever, blah, 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 right? But, yeah, like, at what point are you just – it's a 2-quarterback system. Like, if you're playing 2 quarterbacks, that's a 2-quarterback system. It doesn't matter if it's, like, not the traditional sense of, well, one guy's getting one quarter, one guy's getting the next quarter, or we're switching off, like, series. Like, no. If you're playing 2 guys, that's a 2-quarterback system.
Right.
Period.
Right.
It's a system, and there's 2 quarterbacks. So, yeah, there's that. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network, joins us here in studio. Nick, getting back to what you said initially, because, yeah, we love the quarterback conversation. We've been talking about it all
I don't love it, actually. I hate it. It's awful.
Football, though, for KU has gone
you love it?
awry on the defensive side in the past couple years, because that's where they've lost games, be it not getting off the field, not creating enough turnovers, that sort of thing.
Right.
Where on this KU defense are you most confident that Kansas will improve? And I guess, what is your confidence level that Kansas will improve, both with takeaways, getting off the field, getting the ball back? You mentioned depth. We think that we're deeper pretty much everywhere on the defensive side. Maybe not on the interior defensive line, because you did lose McAlpine, and of course Withers and Dunn are gone to graduation. But yeah,
I love Blake Harrell. So
for sure.
Blake Harrell's like my second favorite player on this team.
Who's your first?
Probably Yasin Willis right now.
Shout out.
The All Big 12, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I had to power rank my favorite players on the team, I'd say Yasin Willis.
Well, you were the
Blake
world's
Harrell.
biggest Torrey Loughlin guy, too.
No, I loved Doug Emelian.
Great program
Oh,
guy.
it's Doug Emelian.
No, I loved Doug Emelian.
Doug Emelian.
Doug Emelian was my guy. No, I think Cam Pickett's probably up there for me as well.
Okay.
I got to love Nick McMillan. Same
Sure.
name. And also he's pretty good, too.
Spelled differently.
Yeah, spelled differently. That is true.
The Blake Harrell's number 2? I don't hate that. That's not wrong, probably. He's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's a really good player.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. But anyways, to what Sean was actually asking about, yeah, it's tough. And I've said this before, too. I think I even said this on when we talked about this probably back in the summer, too. Like, the KU defense does not have to be great. They don't even have to be, like, good. If you're just average, if you're a average, middle-of-the-road Big 12 defense the past 2 years, 2024, 2025, you're probably winning 7 and 8 games those last 2 seasons. So you don't even have to be good. You don't even have to be great. Just be average, right? Just, like, be, like, decent, whatever. The 3 things that I'll be watching for this season.
3 things.
On the defense. Is that like an inside joke or something?
It's a segment of ours that we
Yes,
Oh,
3
really?
things.
Oh,
all the time.
A very popular
Sorry.
segment.
Very popular
I didn't know that was
segment. We do all the
trademarked.
time.
Sorry. 3 things that I'm looking for from the defense. Number 1 is going to be sacks / pass rush, right?
Sure.
You look at Leroy Harris. I'm as high on Leroy Harris as anybody else is. Leroy Harris had 4.5 sacks last season. Do you know how many sacks he had in the last 9 games of the season? 1.
Oof.
He had 4.5 sacks, and 3.5 of them came in the first 3 games. He had 1 sack in conference play last year.
So
1.
Fresno State.
Yeah, he had like.
Wagner.
Well, if you remember, he had like 2. He had like 2.5 sacks against Missouri. He was very disruptive against Missouri. But yes, so he had 1 sack in conference play last year. So I'm excited, just as excited as everybody else is. But that production in conference play specifically is going to have to increase a lot, right? You look at like a guy like David Santiago, a guy like Dak Brinkley. Like, what can those guys offer? So pass rush is going to have to be better overall. Turnovers, which is something you mentioned, Sean. Now, turnovers is kind of a highly volatile stat. That being said, KU still manages to somehow make it seem like it's not a volatile stat because they just, I don't know.
Not being opportunistic.
I think we talked about this before on the show, but KU went from, I think, 12 interceptions as a team in 2024 to 4 in 2025.
Yeah.
4. They had 10 total turnovers forced last year, which is, I think, one of the bottom 10 in the country. You'd have to double-check me on that one. And the crazy thing about that is the KU offense actually was better at taking care of the ball last year than in 2024. But the defense didn't generate any turnovers.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to do that. And I asked DK McDonald about it, and basically like, hey, how do you coach up turnovers? And, he kind of talked about execution and being right position and fundamentals and all that stuff. Well, that's great, but you turn on the tape, and what do you see? You see Trey Lathan drop an interception against Cincinnati that would have stealed the game, right? You see other moments of guys, going back to 2024. You have the fumble Ruski against UNLV. You have the drop pick, and and then you go back to 2023 with the Rich Miller play. DK McDonald wasn't here for that, but you get the picture. So you got to find a way to just generate more turnovers. And the third and most important thing, and this is where these three things are all kind of interconnected, obviously, is third down defense. I mean, you got to be better there, right? You were, I think, second to worst in the Big 12 last year in third down defense. You were over 40% third down defense. Over 40%. Like, that's not good. That's not good at all. So you got to find a way to be better there. How do you get better at third down defense? Get in third and longers. How do you improve your third down percentage? Probably get more pressure. So see how it's all, how do you create more turnovers? Oh, it's a third and long. Quarterback's got to throw it deep. So it's all connected, really. And I think ultimately, from the coach's angle, you probably say, well, in order to get into all those positions, we got to be better against the run. We got to be better on early downs, force those types of situations. But KU forced a lot of the situations last year and still couldn't make it happen. So those are the three areas that I'm kind of paying attention to. And, I think Trey Leyton being in the middle is going to help a lot in terms of communication and whatnot. You have to assume and or hope that a guy like Jailen Todd has stepped up and is going to improve. It seems like there's a little bit of a battle for that other outside corner spot with Austin Alexander and Roman Pearson.
Right.
Austin Alexander's been hurt on and off, so that's maybe impacted his ability a little bit. But if it's Roman Pearson, great. You've got some guys in the secondary that I think are capable of making plays, and you look at someone like Corey Gordon, Kajon Cummings-Coleman. So I think you've got guys that on paper should be able to make some plays and create those opportunities for KU. It's just going to be a matter of making it happen in games, because I think that's going to be the difference between success and failure for KU this season.
100%. Nick Springer, KCSN Pay Heat Podcast, joins the show here in studio. Nick, I wanted to get your thoughts on something that's kind of been floating around in the news, and guys like Sean and I are too stupid to understand it. So I want you to put your shoes.
Asking me?
Yes, I want to put your shoes in a
I'm
lawyer's
the stupidest one here.
shoes. TJ Harden, have you heard about all the rumblings with TJ Harden? He played for, I believe, the Seahawks or maybe the Browns. He had a cup of coffee.
Running back.
The running back from SMU, played at UCLA, then SMU. And this is going on, there are a ton of guys. There was just an Ole Miss wide receiver who was with the Browns for a cup of coffee and then transferred, and now he's committed to LSU. I guess, what are your overall thoughts on this? Because we just, over the past weekend, heard that the blanket injunction did not get approved, and so now everybody needs to file their own individual lawsuit, but then that at the state level, but then now you can get the judges like the Brendan Sorsby judge who are crooked. And,
who?
Yeah, exactly, right? So your overall thoughts on this, and is KU going to try to dip their toe and maybe try to add some pieces who had a cup of coffee at a mini camp in the NFL?
Well, obviously I hate it. I mean, it's
of course, yeah.
It's literally the worst
too.
thing ever.
I know.
It makes me want to take a long walk off a short pier.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's really bad.
But if KU can get an NFL guy, technically.
I don't know. I mean, on the football side, I don't really see it being that feasible.
Sure.
I mean, I think we talked about this before. On the NFL or on the football side, especially at this stage of the offseason. I mean, dude, you're less than 2 weeks from the start of the season.
Right.
I don't think you're going to be able to add anybody that's going to move the needle. The only guy that was eligible that was from Kansas before was Justice Finkley, right? And that's one where it's okay, fine, I can understand that, and I can understand bringing a guy back that was previously on your roster, that knows your staff, that knows your system, that knows what you're trying to do, your culture, all that. I just don't see how feasible it is. I don't see how realistic it is to expect somebody that you add on August 24th, which is what today is, that is going to have a major impact on your team right away. So I don't know. And that's not even getting into the money side of it, right? Obviously that's a part of it too, is you'd have to pay these guys to come back, and without knowing the ins and outs of what the financial situation is for KU, would they be able to make that work? Is it realistic? And truth be told, just like Lance Leipold, he does not seem like the type of coach that is going to really want to do something like this, right? does that really seem like something he would do? He's all about continuity. He's all about, program guy. He's all about, maintaining a consistency, all that stuff. Does he seem like the type of coach that's going to go out and say, actually, you know what? let's just bring in some random guy a week before the season starts and throw him in there.
Yeah.
Like
See if he can learn an Andy Kotelnicki off.
Like and listen, I am actually a big proponent of the idea of, like running back, for instance. How hard is it to teach a guy how to run HB dive?
That's true.
You just take snap and hand it to him and he runs. Okay, there was
Find the
people-
hole. Yeah.
The funniest thing about that is I'm being dead serious. Like,
Yeah.
how difficult would it be if it's like a running back, for instance, to just bring him in and say, hey, line up, we're gonna hand you the ball and you run.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I mean, there's no X's and O's involved in that, really. Like anybody can do that, you think. But even still, like I don't know. I don't see how feasible it is. Now, obviously, on the basketball side, I think it's significantly more likely for KU. When you talk about Melvin Council and Trey White, but I don't know. I do hate it though. It's awful. It makes me miserable.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the worst thing since I started being a sports fan,
Again,
which was
my only-
this whole situation of the unknown and things constantly changing
again,
and no
my only
structure.
hope is, and I don't think we talked about this before when this stuff kind of first started happening a couple weeks ago, is like my only hope is that this is the last gasp of all this crap. And then hopefully the 5-5 will actually do its job. It'll make things simpler. Everybody will understand. And, so hopefully this is like the one last like transition disaster. And then long term we'll be all set.
God, I hope so. That would be ideal. Hey, let's talk a little Chiefs football with you really quick, Nick, because we know you work with the Chiefs radio network, and they went down to Tampa and lost 16-15. The Chiefs do not win in the preseason. That's just kind of how it goes. It's a rule. They cannot win in the preseason. Justin Fields, 75% completion percentage. He continues to impress. But realistically, Emmett Johnson's been a big story of the two exhibition preseason games, whatever you want to call them, first. And now one away, and all signs pointing toward Mahomes being ready for week 1 against Denver.
Well, you want to hear something wild about the never winning the preseason?
I do.
The Kansas City Royals have won a postseason series before the last time the Chiefs won a preseason game.
Is that right?
Which, how have we not talked about?
It's been that long.
How have we not talked about the Royals recently?
Yeah, well,
they are somehow only 7.5 out right now.
Yeah, I
in the
know,
wild
but
card.
it's August and the Royals just don't exist to me right now.
Okay, but
I know, but
they
they're
do
still
exist because we're having David Lesky. Okay,
I know.
Lesky's on tomorrow. You can just step aside for that segment. That's fine.
They're 7.5.
7.5
I'm
out.
gonna tell him you don't
it's
care.
not impossible, and it also would be the best story
tell
in maybe baseball
David
history.
Lesky
58-74, 8 straight wins for the Royals. Anyway, continue. Yes, they beat the Orioles in 2024. The Chiefs haven't won a preseason since 2023.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Emmett Johnson's been great. Jailen Royals was the Chiefs' leading receiver the other night against the Bucs, which was cool to see. I'm assuming you guys talked about Jalen Daniels, the fact that
we haven't talked about him
should
yet.
absolutely be the Bucs' backup quarterback. Like Jake Browning is terrible.
Yeah,
so
we talked
what
about it
are we
after the
doing?
Jets game about how good he was, but we haven't talked about it yet on this show about him playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah. So he should obviously be the backup quarterback for the Bucs. But yeah, Jalen Royals led the team in receptions and yards for the Chiefs. That's a positive sign. I think a lot of fans were clamoring for him last season. And so if he can carve out some kind of role, that would be pretty cool. Garrett Nussmeier looks really good for the Chiefs as well. Justin Fields is bad.
No, he has 75% completion percentage. He's not bad.
Sean
taking a 25-yard sack is bad.
Sean is the biggest Justin Fields fan in the world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. I mean,
I like him.
Second favorite player on the team, maybe. Who knows?
That's crazy. It was good to see Kenneth Walker, obviously, a little bit as well against the Bucs to showcase what he could do. Khalil Benson, that was fun while it lasted. Everyone was like, "Oh, this Khalil Benson guy, that's cool," and he got cooked. Listen, it may end up working out for the Chiefs still, but sitting there and having to watch Reuben Bain just take one arm and just be like, and push Khalil Benson out of the way, I'm like, oh my God, this fucking. Now, it may, again, work out even still for the Chiefs. If Montour Delane's good and, Peter Woods is good and R. Mason Thomas looked like he was pretty good. So it may actually end up working out for the Chiefs, but even still, just watching a guy that I desperately wanted the Chiefs to draft go out there and, with one arm, just completely shove a tackle out of the way. I'm like, what are we doing? So
that's obvious. It's always so great to me when you see guys fall because of stupid stuff like, oh, his arms are short. And he falls to whatever. What did they get him at 15?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't 15. Ty Simpson was 15.
I think he was 16.
Yeah, it was some way. But it's abundantly clear, oh, doesn't matter. The short
There's
arms
a fine
don't matter.
line between like analytics and being like, oh, whatever, blah, 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 and being like, I'm looking with my own 2 eyes, and this guy's a good player.
Right.
Like, I don't give a damn about whatever the hell your analytics say. Like, I'm watching him, and he's good. He's making plays. Like,
Right.
what more do you need to see? But yeah, so Emmett Johnson's cool. I'm excited about him from Nebraska. Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas both look pretty good. R. Mason Thomas almost had an interception, by the way, which is pretty cool on a screen pass. So that was good.
I mean, are you okay with that trade-off? Like, obviously not getting Ruben Bain sucks. You got Monsoor Lane, who's going to be a really good corner. That's definitely a need. But, like, are you okay with getting Monsoor Lane and R. Mason Thomas and Peter Woods as opposed to, like, what could have been with Ruben Bain? I know he looks really good.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like, if Monsoor Delane and Noel Williams are both locking down the outside, then, like, okay, fine, sure.
Yeah.
But, you need a pass rush, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think all of them have looked good. Like, R. Mason Thomas and
Right.
Peter Woods have looked really good. From all
Right.
indications, like, Peter Woods has been the steal of the draft.
Which, he was, before last season, he was projected to be like a top 10 guy.
Then Clemson changed their DC, and it just, like, didn't work for him.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen this weird stat that Dabo Swinney just kills NFL players?
Oh, really?
From Clemson. Like,
That's awesome.
Clemson guys always fall in the draft and end up being, like, kind of bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's, like, a long list of ways you look at. But yeah, I mean, with the Chiefs, I feel pretty good, I guess, right now, overall. Like,
Record
Mahomes
prediction. Have they given us a record prediction yet?
of the Chiefs?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
Do you have one in
Just
mind?
go safe. Just go 12-5.
Yeah, 12-5. That's what everyone says.
I mean, I'll go 17-0, but
Yeah, sure.
Do that. That works too.
That's fine.
yeah, I don't know. And then when they're 0-1 after Monday night against the Broncos, I'll just take another long walk.
16-1.
Off short
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, Mahomes is fine. I'm excited about Kenneth Walker. Chiefs are doing a lot more under center stuff, which is cool. Wide receiver position, obviously, I think I'm still don't feel great about.
Realistically, what can Cyrus Allen do for the Chiefs? Like, is he in your eyes? Could he take over as like that number 2 guy, and then potentially hopefully whenever the Chiefs get rid of Rashee Rice, because I hope they do.
Won't. I don't think he'll be number 2, but I mean, seems like he's gonna have a role. He's got a big catch radius, made a nice play in the first preseason game. So yeah, he'll have a role. Yeah, honestly, from what I've seen, I think the path forward is Jalen Royals is just your Rashee Rice replacement. I mean, think about this.
But yeah,
what does Rashee Rice do well?
Catch football.
Gets open.
No, he doesn't do either of those things.
I know.
Well. But he can break tackles and run after catch. And Jalen Royals proved he can do that too.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would suggest for the Chiefs. But
And that's all that's required, right?
Nobody ever asked me my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I asked Sean this.
Except for you guys. You guys asked me.
One last thing before we kick it to break.
I'm stupid, but
Yeah, one last thing before we kick it to break. Over or under 750 for Travis Kelce this year?
Receiving yards?
Yeah.
Oh, over.
You think he's over still?
Oh,
okay.
Over.
That's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good. That's good
What,
to know.
you think it's under?
Where were you?
I think it's right at 750.
I thought you were going to say over under Travis Kelce, age 37, which case it'd be over.
Where were you? Greg Gurley in the house. Shout out. Where were you December 14th, Nicholas?
Last year?
Yeah.
I was sitting in a chair in the Chiefs Radio Network studio watching Patrick Mahomes' ACL get obliterated.
With your party hat on.
And it was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
Yeah, it was
9 months to the day. We will see the return of 15 on September 14th
And
against the Broncos. You still think the Chiefs should hold him out until Week 6. You've been saying that. Oh, you don't want him out there.
All right, if he gets hurt
I
this
think
year,
you would want him out there,
I would
Sean,
love for you to
because I
have
didn't
this,
even know this.
this
No.
cavalier
Justin
tone.
Fields is the number one fan.
3 words. 3 words. 2 quarterback system. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network, joins us here in studio. Check out the
Justin
Pay
Fields.
Heat
It's
podcast
ridiculous.
on KCSN. Nick, thanks for coming in. As always, we'll chat with you next week and have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, I say that because
I'm going to
I mean,
Vegas.
it's Monday, unfortunately, but
I'm going
Nick's
to
going to
Vegas
Vegas.
again,
He's
so
gonna have
yeah.
he's gonna have a
That's
blast. Hey, Case of the Monday is coming up after this. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. All right, time for our Case of the Mondays segment here on Rock Chalk Sports. But first, Dan, Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, HeinenOPE.com. They've got 2 locations. They're partners of us here at Kansas Nation. 1795 East 1500 Road in Lawrence. They also have a Valley Falls location. Great 2026 models in stock over there at Heinen.
Yeah, the best in new and pre-owned Ferris, Hustler, and Country Clipper mowers, Mahindra tractors and implements, Arctic Cat ATVs and UTVs, Steel handhelds, and Billy Goat specialty turf products. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales, financing, service, and parts department are ready to offer outstanding service every step of the way. Check them out, HeinenOPE.com. That's HeinenOPE.com.
All right, case of the Mondays. We got to start with one of our interns, Tyler Brewer. He is having a case of the Mondays because, as people might know, Mr. Brewer is a Cardinals fan, and the Cardinals went up to Philly yesterday and lost. That's right. It was 4-0. The Cardinals were leading the Phillies. Christopher Sanchez was on the slab for the Phillies, and it looked like the Cardinals were going to steal it. No. Guy on, 2 outs, 4-0 Cardinals. Bases get loaded. Edmundo Sosa has a 3-run double. Revenge game, by the way, for Edmundo Sosa. Brian De La Cruz, he ends up singling home Sosa. It's tied at 4. Next guy walks, and then Kyle Schwarber walks up. Bam. Walk-off home run. Phillies win. Cardinals lose.
Didn't the Cardinals get walked off on Saturday, too?
Did that happen?
I believe so. I remember Tyler. So Tyler and I both went to the volleyball game, and he walks in just in a bad mood.
Oh, man, it had to be.
Or it might have been on Friday, I think.
It had to be it. They've lost 3 in a row, so they get swept by the Phillies. They're 66-66, which would be a lot better in the American League than the National League. But in the National League, the Cardinals are 5.5 back of the wild card with that 500 record. Back to what we were saying about the Royals. We will have David Lesky on tomorrow, and people don't want to mention it, but it's a thing right now. It's still a very long shot. I want to put that out there. But the Royals are not completely out of this. I mean, they're 7.5 back in the wild card race.
They've won 8 in a row.
Weirder things have happened. Yeah, they completely swept the homestand. They had a 4-game sweep over the A's. They had a 3-game sweep over the Tigers. And, I mean, again, it's not likely. But if the Royals go, say, 23-7, which, again, is a lot to ask, but they are a little bit healthier. Pasquantino is back. Got to get Kaggs back. He didn't play because of an ankle thing yesterday, and the Royals are idle today. It's not impossible. They've got 2 stars in Witt and Caglione, and we'll have to wait and see. Next up for the Royals, who did I just see? They're playing Toronto, so they got Max Scherzer, who's got a 7+ ERA tomorrow. They're getting consistent starting pitching. Again, they're still 16 games under 500. They're 58-74, but the American League is terrible. The Guardians hold the last wild card spot at 65-66. The Rangers also have that, so the Royals still have to jump a ton of teams. The record is bad enough to where
crazier stuff's happened.
Yeah, crazier stuff has happened. The record is still bad, like I said, and it's going to have to be the Royals doing the heavy lifting. They're going to need to go at least, I would say, 20-7 the rest of the way. Or 20-10 the rest of the way, and even that's 78-84, probably not good enough. But if you get to 80 wins, you're 80-82, that might be good enough for a third wild card. Again, it's unlikely, but when you've won 8 straight games and the American League is so bad, then we can at least dream.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? You got Toronto?
Maybe I'll start tuning in again. This is always the time of year where I start tuning it out, except for in 2014 and 2015 and in 2024.
Okay, you know what they call that?
A bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
A bad fan.
Perfect.
I'm aware.
Yes,
I know this. I'm more of a football guy, though. You know this.
Pretty bad. It's Case the Mondays for you as well.
Yeah, it's Case the Mondays for me.
I didn't realize this until after I had arrived at the studio today, which is thanks for giving everybody a heads up.
You're welcome. For the first time in my life, there's a couple of things you should know about me. Number 1, I've never gotten a mosquito bite in my life. This is true. At least that I know of. I've never been bitten by a mosquito. I've never had a bite that itched by a mosquito. And I have never, ever in my life gotten poison ivy before until this past weekend. For the first time in my life, I was out. Our fence, we have a chain link fence, wildly overgrown. Bunch of weeds. I think it looks kind of fun. It's like, earthy and whatever, but Barbara didn't like it, so she wanted me to cut it up. So I took my Sawzall, and I was just like, just taking all this stuff out. I have poison ivy on my leg, on my stomach,
that's
right
the worst.
here,
The side, yeah.
and on my left eyelid.
Oh my God!
Right here.
Well,
and
make sure that you keep touching it and touch everything around.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've been, I've been going to buffets and just touching all the spoons. Yeah, it's bad though. It's really bad. I have it also. I don't want to talk about this on air. It's not good. It's
all
not
over
good.
your body. Huh?
I hate it. Have you had poison ivy before? I'm assuming you have,
think
right?
so, but it went away pretty quick.
Well, it's not like I didn't. It's not like I have never been outside before. That's like, I don't know. I grew up like in the middle of nowhere. I was outside a lot as a kid. I've just never gotten it. And I've done a ton of yard work ever since we've gotten this house, but there's one corner of the yard I just haven't really been around, and that's where a ton of poison ivy is. For the first time in my life, I've gotten poison ivy.
Have you been able to sleep?
No,
a couple
I
nights
slept terribly.
Yeah.
I'm itching. Look, I'm itching myself right now.
You're really not supposed to scratch it and spread it.
You told me. Yeah, of course. I don't know. I've never had it before. So you can't just be like, don't scratch it.
Word of the wise.
Hey, you know how you're incredibly itchy all over your body? Don't
scratch it. That's how it goes.
Okay,
That's
sure.
how it goes.
That's easier said than done. I hate it. It's terrible. I'm just, man, whatever. Hey, it's Case of the Mondays for, I guess, just like college athletics fans in general.
Still, it has been, right? Seems like constantly.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and break this down. So apparently, the class of 2022 athletes who exhausted 4 years of eligibility, they are now, as we know, there was a blanket injunction in Colorado. I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can. I'm going to try to explain it to someone like they were 5, but I'm also 5.
Okay.
So that means just poorly. Class of 2022 athletes had a blanket injunction saying, hey, everyone in the class of 2022 is now eligible to play this year. Now it has gotten to the 10th circuit, which is the area that is the Colorado area. Apparently, all the players in the class of 2022 that exhausted their eligibility are now ineligible unless they are a part of their own lawsuit or injunction, right? So now the blanket injunction no longer is a thing. Now you have to individually go and file a lawsuit against the NCAA instead of having this blanket thing. And we've seen a number of different people already do this. But now, to me, again, not a lawyer, not sure how a lot of this stuff works, but based off of what we've seen with lawsuits at the state level, there's a lot of crooked and corrupt judges out there who are just more than willing to give people whatever they want, i.e. Brendan Sorsby. If you remember, Brendan Sorsby wound up suing the NCAA, and then they labeled him as, hey, yeah, actually you are eligible. And then Brendan Sorsby himself, by the way, good move on his part to do this. Brendan Sorsby said, actually, guys, I'm just not going to play anymore. Like, I totally get it. I messed up. I gambled. I'm just going to go and try to go to the NFL. And then the NFL actually told him, hey, you can't play this year. He has to wait another year. But as of right now, they have to essentially file their own lawsuits. This is from Kevin Sweeney. I thought this was an interesting tweet. He said, we've reached the worst case scenario with 2022 players. A world where lots of players will be eligible through state-level injunctions, but no national consensus, and eligibility for different players will be dictated by different states on different schedules. What a mess. That absolutely is. This is it's a perfect storm. I say that tongue-in-cheek because it's going to be terrible because all of these different states, all of these different judges, all of these different lawyers are going to be on different schedules. So some may be pushed through faster than others depending on how much the judges and the lawyers really want this player to play for their team, right? And then number 2, what a terrible time of year for this to start happening.
Oh, no,
School
it's a total
started
mess.
today for
it's
KU.
An absolute mess. We've already played 3 soccer games. KU soccer, shout out, by the way.
Shout out.
3-1 over Kent State. 3 late goals for KU soccer as they are now 3-1 on the season. But yeah, no, it's terrible. And that's maybe the only thing I've ever agreed with Nick Springer about is hopefully this is the end of this. I mean, this is just a disaster.
That's the way that
I'm tired of talking about this. Like, can we get back to what should be reality?
Dude, literally saying, I'm sick and tired of talking about this. But Nick had a really good point where he said this probably is going to be the last time because
I hope so.
The 5-and-5 rule works for everybody.
It's the class of
except
2022
for the class
mess
of 2022.
right now. Yeah.
So after this year, in theory, knock on wood, is going to be the last time we see something of this caliber of a mess. But this is probably going to be the biggest mess of them all. It's going to be for this year. I'm sure there's going to be other people suing in 2027, right? Trying to get it. But I think it's going to be a more ironclad rule with the 5-and-5 being put into place that now they're like, all right, hey, after this year, they're going to nip it in the bud and say no more.
I hope
that, or the NCAA is just going to cease to exist because if the NCAA keeps on getting pushed around like this, they're not going to exist anymore. Greg
that
Sankey's
NCAA tournament, man,
Greg
that
Sankey
continues
is
to bring in funds.
Greg Sankey's already openly talked about leaving the NCAA because of how terrible they run the organization.
I will believe that when I see it.
I
need
know,
to see some
I
legs
understand,
before that
but it's
happens.
like, can you blame? Look, it sucks because guys like us don't like it because we don't like change and we want it to be the way
And
that
we're
it
not
used
lawyers.
to be, and we're also not lawyers. That's why it's hard for us to talk about this stuff. But also, it's like, can you blame schools? I mean, why wouldn't you try?
I guess.
If you can get a guy who played in the NBA Summer League for the Miami Heat and then have him come back to this Kansas roster, absolutely you would do that, right? If you can get a guy who had a cup of coffee playing, at a rookie minicamp and in some exhibition games for the NFL, having him come back to college, why wouldn't you, right? And that's just because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. If everyone's cheating and you're trying to be this is why Clemson is no longer relevant anymore. Because Clemson, Dabo Swinney, I think Dabo Swinney did the right thing, but he got left in the dust because the entirety of the sport was moving forward. Dabo Swinney said, no, I don't like the way this is going. I agree with Dabo.
Sure, he did the right thing morally. Yeah.
But Clemson is now irrelevant. They're not what they used to be. Clemson used to be in the national championship or at least in the CFP like every single year. Now they're nobody because they don't utilize the transfer portal. They don't utilize all these different kinds of things, right? They have a little bit of NIL money, but at the same time, they're the most like what college athletics used to be, and they've gotten left in the dust because everything is moving forward. So it's either you adapt and you change with the times and you start cheating the way other people start cheating, or you're going to get left behind. That's the way it's going to happen, and it sucks. It really sucks. I mean, that's just the world that we live in now. But again, I hope all of this gets figured out, ironed out, whatever other phrases you can use. I don't know. It just sucks. I have one here. I'm going to wait until I think Elijah went to the bathroom, so I'm going to wait to do this because I do have a picture that I want to show. So I'm going to hold on to the Carson Beck thing. It's Case the Money's for the movie industry. So have you heard of the movie Niu Lei?
I have not.
Okay, good. I'm going to let you in on this. Niu Lei was a Chinese movie that has
Niulai.
It has broken the record for the most profitable movie of all time. And I'll tell you why this is. It was Obsession, because Obsession, I think, was made for like $1 million or something along those lines. And it was kind of, it was really low budget, but a big, like a giant release. Elijah's going to get coffee now. That's so funny. Minimal budget, giant release, made a ton of money, and that was the, quote, most profitable. The reason I'm saying most profitable is because of the fact that Niu Lei was made, I don't have a picture of this, but it was made for $200. On a budget of $200, a Chinese mom in her 60s and her son, who's in his 30s, they spent 5 years making an 86-minute animated film called Niu Lei. It's about like a CGI cow or something. The budget was $200. They had a hustle to get theater distribution. It flopped. It made $1,000 in the first week. That's still profitable.
Yeah.
Right? It's so bad. It's such a terrible movie but it's almost like they weren't trying to make it bad. They were trying to make it good. It was this Chinese mom in her 60s, and she wanted to just make a fun movie with her son, right? It's so bad that it goes completely viral and makes $4 million at the box office. That is 20,000 times the return on its budget from what it made. I believe the Paranormal Activity was made with $15,000. That made $193 million. Blair Witch Project was made on $60,000. It made $248 million. So that was 4,133 times the profit. $200 to $4 million, 20,000 times the most profitable film in a box office ever in the history of the movies.
That's hard to believe in one of those situations that I wish I would have been the one to do this.
Right?
Because, the so bad it's good would be the only hope I would have on that.
Well, I think that was kind of the beauty of like Sharknado. I think Sharknado, they really tried to make the first one good, and they just had a terrible budget, and that's why everyone kind of flocked to it. And then they started making like Sharknado 2, Return of the Sharknado or whatever.
Yeah.
And then those ones kind of flopped afterwards because they tried to. It's I don't know. There's something beautiful about it. I absolutely love it. We do have a picture for this next one. It's Case of Mondays for Carson Beck. Do you have this picture up, Elijah? Oh, he'll get it up. Okay. So Carson Beck got a new tattoo. It's the Arizona Cardinals logo, and it has number 19. If you're listening on ESPN Kansas City or listening on the podcast forum, I implore you to try to find this picture because he put it on his close friend's Instagram story. It looks like it's on his butt cheek.
It does.
Straight up looks like it's on his butt cheek. Now, Carson Beck, I think, has since come out and said it's actually on his arm. It's just a weird angle. But it for sure looks like it's a butt cheek tattoo.
Oh, man.
Doesn't that look like a butt cheek?
Aren't both of his arms fully sleeved? I've seen that.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Hold
Maybe. Maybe it's not even his arm. I mean, I thought he had sleeves on both arms.
I guess he does. Maybe it is his butt cheek. Is this butt cheek? Yeah, it's just, well, no. There's no way. It might be his butt cheek. I thought he came out and said it was on his arm, but I could be wrong about that.
He did put it on his story and say it was on his arm.
Yeah. But that looks like a butt. That's a butt.
Maybe only one of his arms.
Maybe
no, he's
what
got
if
tattoos on
what
both
if this
arms.
is like one of his friends? I think it's his, though.
It could be. I don't know. That's the only tattoo that's visible, and he's got a lot on
brutal.
his arms.
That's absolutely brutal. For the sake of my parents watching, I'm not gonna.
We'll go with arm.
Well, I was
gonna not say something. That works.
Yeah, I'm
that
not
works.
gonna. Hey, I think it's cool to get your a team tattooed on your butt.
You think it's cool, huh?
I think it's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I think that everyone should be totally okay with
it. This is the TMI RCS today. I think we've got.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, it's Case of Mondays for Greensboro High School in Alabama. High school. Really cool story. Columbia High School beats Greensboro in Huntsville 41-14. Exciting win. High school football's back. Columbia High School had lost 101 games straight.
How does that happen? You win 100 or you lose 101 and then you just bludgeon a team?
Yeah. There was a different guy I saw it on like Scotty something, not Scotty Oaks.
No, not Scotty Oaks. Okay.
Good mutual friend of ours, by the way.
Yes. Friend of the show.
But I think he was like a brand new coach. They brought him in and they wound up just clobbering Greensboro High School in Alabama, 41-14 after losing 101 straight football games.
Had not won a game since 2015.
That's brutal. That's actually insane. Good for them.
You think this is NIL related?
This is odd.
They turned it over.
Yeah. I'll never forget. So my sophomore year of high school, Santa Fe Trail was on a 4-year losing streak. They had lost like 37 or 40 games in a row. Yeah. I think it was around. Yeah, that sounds right. It was like 37 games in a row. Santa Fe Trail had lost. My sophomore year of high school, the first game of the year, we played against Royal Valley. I played special teams because it was my sophomore year, and I played I think I actually returned one kick in that game as well. But Santa Fe Trail winds up beating Royal Valley at home, and the students stormed the field.
Yeah.
First game. It was a 37-game losing streak.
Right.
I mean, I get that. I totally get this. Like, it's awesome. I'm happy for him, man. It's great. And then the next year, Santa Fe Trail, we wound up going to the Final Four, one game away from the state championship.
So the Royals had won the World Series more recently than Columbia High School had won a game.
That is correct.
That's crazy.
Brutal?
Case of the Mondays, though, for Greensboro taking that 41-14 L. Interesting. That's a big win for a program that lost every game for 12 years or whatever it was. Hey, that's our Case of the Mondays for today. After this, we're going to go back to the KU football building, hear from a couple tight ends at the indoor practice facility. We spoke to Leyton Cure and Jailen Butler at KU Football Media Days. That's next. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Welcome back. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright with you. Elijah Schmidt is our technical director. We're going to go back to the indoor practice facility. We got all sorts of stuff from KU coaches and players that you're going to see throughout this week on Rock Chalk Sports at KU Football Media Day. First, I want to tell you about our new partners, Ameritrust Credit Union. Jayhawk fans, show up, pack the field house, and wave the wheat. When it comes to money, Ameritrust brings that same energy. That's because financial well-being isn't just something they offer, it's why they exist. Real people, local decisions, a team that actually knows your name. When you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they are ready. Ameritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Visit ameritrust.org to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. All right, couple KU tight ends we caught up with last week, Leyton Cure and Jailen Butler. Let's hear from the sixth-year player, Leyton Cure, from last week.
Leyton, just talk to me about fall camp. We talked to you a couple of days ago, but I mean, it's September 4th, right around the corner, man. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm excited. About like maybe 2 weeks out or so. So we're getting pretty close to game time. So I think the fall camp has been a big success so far this year. A lot of competition in a bunch of different spots, and that's always good to have when we got a bunch of guys competing to go out there and play. But it also shows the amount of depth that we can have if anybody goes down in any of those positions, that people are confident that the next guy is going to be able to step up and be able to hold the standard that the other guy had. So it's been awesome. I've had a fun last fall camp, and I'm not going to say that I enjoy the fall camp experience so much, but I'm excited to finish this one up.
I was about to ask, are you kind of soaking it in a little bit, or are you kind of like, all right, give me the cooler weather?
Yeah, soaking it in a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, this is the worst part of football, is going through fall camp and having to stay here from 6 to 8 at night and just kind of hang out. But it's definitely more fun when you got guys around you that you really enjoy to be around. So.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we talked to you a couple days ago. You had brought this up kind of on your own, but you said something about 14 personnel, which I'm a big fan of. Have you put that into Andy Kotelnicki's mind at all about like, hey, let's throw all of us out there? Who knows?
Not yet. We got to make a stop by his office and start throwing that in there. But I think our room and also Coach Lubick would vouch for us. Like we're all guys, we're big athletes that can play, and I think that if it ever comes to a spot where it's like, hey, we could possibly do this in 14 personnel, I think we're all going to vouch for each other to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure. What's something that you've been working on in this offseason to kind of take your game, I guess, to that next level?
This offseason, just focus on the smaller things, more the technique side of things. Sometimes I can get a little bit out of control on blocks and stuff like that. I'm so used to playing so fast and trying to just be a little bit of a bullet most of the time. That's why sometimes I was just in like for passing routes where I just have to go vertical and stuff like that, just let me run. But just figuring out a tempo that best works for me to play and kind of calm myself down and be able to redirect and make blocks rather than just kind of throwing my body at people.
Talking to me about the chemistry building you have with the two quarterbacks, obviously not knowing who it's going to be throughout the rest of the season. I mean, just getting those extra reps with those guys, and how have you seen them kind of grow as well?
They've both grown a lot over this past, would it be 7-8 months that since JD's been gone. Both of them stepped into big leadership roles. They were already leaders on our team, but just like being able to capture the whole offense and capture the whole team in general. They've been great at that, developed a lot of chemistry with those guys over spring ball and over fall camp. They're two really good dudes just to be around. I'm excited for whoever wins the job, and I would assume that it's not going to be the end for the other guy. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for probably two quarterback stuff out there. I think Coach Kotelnicki's shown that in the past, so there definitely is that still on the table. They're really open guys to just kind of great to be around, and I'm excited to see what they do this year. It's going to be a fun year.
Being a Kansas kid and also coming from the D2 ranks, I mean, what are your thoughts on the booth and the way that it's come about? I mean, you obviously, seeing it growing up, and being at smaller level, seeing some different facilities. I mean, just talk about the facilities and the investment that's going on in KU football right now.
Yeah, coming from the Division II level, it's a big change. That's probably the biggest change, is the amount of resources thrown into some of these places. I think the coolest stadium I had seen before I got here, or I guess played in, was probably Pittsburgh State, the Jungle, which is a good spot, but nothing like this. And I'm so happy that with all the boosters that have thrown money into this and what Travis Goff and Coach Leipold have done to get this program to the spot it is. It's just like when people come here on recruiting visits, I assumed in the past I never got recruited out of high school here, but it might have been a little tough to come in here and see the stadium and stuff like that, and guys envisioning playing in that older David Booth Stadium. Even though it was a good spot, it was really reminiscent of some things, but I think with all these new facilities, that's kind of where college football is going. A lot of people are doing a lot of renovations to make their facilities nicer and offer more amenities to the college football players. I think it's awesome, and we get recruits coming in here, and even parents, they're like, wow, this place is a college program. It's not an NFL organization. It's been awesome to see the growth of the stadium here.
Leyton, good luck this year, man.
Thank you.
That's KU senior Leyton Cure from last week at KU Football Media Day. And now a transfer from Old Dominion, also in the tight end room. Great size and a guy looking to prove himself. Jailen Butler, here he is from last week.
Jailen, just talk about your fall camp, how it's been, obviously adjusting to a new system from Old Dominion.
Yeah, I think the adjustment's been pretty well. What we do here as far as just learning the system, as far as voiceovers and things of that nature, I think it's allowed me to play at a fast level. And just the transition overall with the offense. The offense here is a lot versatile with what we can do with the tight ends here, so I'm just excited for this season.
Andy Kotelnicki kind of known for using his tight ends in some fun, different ways. I mean, was that an adjustment, I guess, coming into this kind of system, and how do you like playing in that kind of system?
Yeah, definitely an adjustment. Compared to Old Dominion's tight ends were used as fullbacks mostly compared to here, but here we're split out wide, we're in the box. We're asked to do a lot of things as far as pass pro, run routes, and blocking the run game. So I'm just excited to see what Coach K does with us this year.
Played a lot of snaps, but not a lot of receptions, and that's obviously to the style of the system that you were in, I guess. I mean, are you ready to kind of prove to everybody that, hey, you're a multifaceted kind of tight end, you're ready to do it on both sides, whether it be blocking or catching the ball?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to just use my basketball background to just showcase what I can do on the outside as far as just running routes and just getting past guys on the second level. So, yeah, definitely something to look out for this season.
I talked to Leyton Cure a couple days ago. He said he loves Andy Kotelnicki's offense. He wants to see some 14 personnel, and I would love to see that too. But just talk about the depth in that tight end room and, you know, what you're seeing out of those other guys.
Yeah, I think this tight end group right now is just very versatile. Everybody here can do a lot of things, and we're asked to do a lot. So I think what we just do as far as just getting better each and every day is just going to allow us to just be able to perform well this season.
And talk about maybe the chemistry building that you've had with some of the other guys. Obviously coming from Old Dominion where you're there for a long time, brand new system and kind of a step higher than Old Dominion as well. Just talk about the adjustment that you've had and getting to know some of these guys too.
Yeah, I think what we do here as far as just culture groups and things of that nature, we get outside a lot. We go bowling, watch movies together. So I think that adjustment made it easy for me just to be able to bond with my teammates and just get to know them outside of football.
Who's the best bowler?
Best bowler, I have to give it to myself. Okay. Yeah.
What do you average?
I say I average around the 150s.
That's not bad. Okay. That's not too bad, really. Looking at the new booth, obviously you weren't here for the old one, but I mean, just talk about seeing all the construction coming around it and the investment that's being put into KU football.
Yeah, definitely excited to investment. I heard they're even building a hotel behind the stadium in the near future, so definitely excited to see that. I'm excited to see the fan base, the band, and I heard there's a pretty good light show, so I'm excited for that as well.
Talk about your game personally. I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of it when you were at Old Dominion, but what's something that you've been working since you've gotten on to Kansas to take your game to that next level?
Yeah, I'm definitely just worried about the fundamentals, just being able to just get better each and every day. Just for me, it's just focusing on just what can I do that one play to just maximize the opportunities. So just being able to run block, pass block, and when the opportunities do come on the outside, just being able to run good routes.
And you play attached sometimes, obviously. What are you seeing out of the offensive line, this group? I mean, Calvin, he's been around forever and been kind of a stalwart. But what are you seeing out of some of the other guys on the offensive line?
Yeah, the offensive line is definitely a mature group. I think they do a very good job of just as far as protecting the quarterback and things of that nature. But, yeah, I'm excited to see what those guys do this year.
Thanks, John. Have a good season.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Should be interesting to see how the tight end battle works out. We talk a lot about internal competition, but really, really quality players KU's got, who all bring something a little bit different to the table. We just heard from Jailen Butler, of course, Leyton Cure before him. Carson Brune, I'm high on, and a guy who got preseason recognition was the transfer from Albany, Carter Moses. So 4 guys who really are each going to try to have a say in the success of the Kansas offense.
Yeah, I think as time goes on, I think I'm leaning more towards what you were saying about Carson Brune, just because I think everybody's kind of thinks Carson Brune is going to be that number 1 guy. But I'm so high on Jailen Butler just because of the fact that he's an untapped well, right? Where he played at Old Dominion. I talked about it. We heard it from Jailen Butler. He said that, at Old Dominion, they kind of utilized him more as like a fullback, right? Where he wasn't really, in the pass game a whole lot. He was in the backfield, doing attached stuff, essentially kind of like an extra pass protector in the backfield for Old Dominion. 9 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown last year. I mean, you look at the stats, you go, that's not impressive. But he played almost every single offensive snap that there was to play. I think Kansas liked what they saw out of the limited film that they have of him catching balls. They liked his size, and they go, man, this guy, nobody knows about him because he was in the wrong style of offense for a tight end to, flourish. And now, with what Andy Kotelnicki did with Tyler Warren, what Andy Kotelnicki likes to do with his tight ends, like this is the perfect storm for a guy like Jailen Butler, a guy who nobody knew. Kansas saw the film and they understood the kind of system that they were in, and they're like, oh man, this guy could really do some damage if he's utilized correctly, which he wasn't at Old Dominion. I think Leyton Cure, by the way, is primed for a big one as well. He's shifty, he's quick, and I really like his upside.
Internal competition up and down this KU football depth chart. Hey, we're going to hear from KU punter Matt Gill after this. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. As we move from the heat of summer into fall, now is the time to make sure your lawn finishes the season strong. The work you do in August and September lays the foundation for a thicker, healthier, greener lawn next spring. That's where the experts at Custom Lawn and Landscape come in. Give them a call or visit them online at customlawn.com. You can schedule your fall lawn care program. Again, customlawn.com. Custom Lawn and Landscape, your partner for a beautiful lawn every season. Let's go back to the KU indoor practice facility and hear from KU punter Matt Gill.
Hey, Matthew, just how excited are you to get back out there, and how's your fall camp been so far?
Yeah, I feel like it's going really well. I mean, I got a great group around me, supporting me, especially with family back home, but I've got a lot of experience in the room, so really excited for this season, really excited to just, get into it.
Long trip across pond, obviously. I mean, how are you acclimating to Kansas so far?
Oh, I love it here. There's no environment quite like a college town. Just a lot of buzz around the university, especially coming into football season. Just seen nothing like it before. It's incredible.
How did you get into punting in the first place? Obviously, I mean, rugby's big in Australia, but I mean, where did you find out that you were good at it, I guess?
Oh, yeah, no, it's an interesting story. So I started playing AFL back home. So a lot of kicking is kind of the idea, like punting. And I just got scouted for it one day. Signed up with Tim Gleeson, who runs the Australian Kicking Academy back home. I was his first member at that. And, he just trained me up, saw the potential I had, I guess. Like I've always known I've had a, fairly big leg for a good kick. And just, it was nice to know that there's a sport that could really value it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Taiwo Onatolu is the special teams coordinator. I mean, how would you describe his coaching style and, being in his kind of system?
Oh, he's unbelievable. Obviously, I don't have a grasp of what other special team coordinators are like, but he's, so adapting. And, you come in and you hear about these big coaches, like big coordinators, and then you come in and they're just really down-to-earth guys. They just want to work with you. They just want you to get better every day and improve. And, the scheme that we've got going on, I'm really excited for, and I'm really excited to show it off.
Did you have any impressions at all about Kansas, or even kind of know it existed over when you were growing up in Australia?
Not too much. I mean, I'm a bit of like a geography nerd, so I know all the countries, do all the states, and all I could think about with Kansas was it's in the middle of the country and it's flat. And got to here and started walking to class and realized it's not that flat at all. But no, and then so started researching it once I found out there was interest, and just got so excited. Like heard about Allen Fieldhouse and especially the basketball team, such a notorious program, and then I looked at the football team and saw that we've had some pretty great years leading up into this one, and a lot of excitement coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the new booth, David Booth Gaines Memorial Stadium, you obviously didn't see the old one, but seeing a facility like this, I mean, how cool is that to be out there this year?
Yeah, I mean, we went into the stadium for the first time with the practice, and it was incredible. Like, nothing like back home. We've got some big stadiums back home, but with how the pitches are, then it's just, here it's just encompassed. Here it's just encompassed into like almost standing over the field. So the atmosphere when people are around there, it's going to be absolutely electric. So I'm really excited.
Good luck this year, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
New kicker and punter for Kansas this year, and that was incoming punter Matt Gill, the Aussie. We're going to have all sorts of coverage like I've talked about. DK McDonald we'll hear from on tomorrow's show, and a slew of KU players the rest of the week on Rock Chalk Sports. For Elijah Schmidt, our technical director, and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you tomorrow from 4 to 6, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.